What's up?
Nothing much.
Look, just in the Black Media Matter studios, just another day in the life, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you're here to tell us a little bit more about the school, because I want people to understand that the opportunities for our community to participate in what Pacific Northwest Ballet has set is there. Tell us a little bit about your experience with PNB School.
Well, I came here around 2 years ago as a part of their professional division program, and I applied and did the summer course, and then I got in, luckily. So I just came up through there, and my first year here was the COVID year, so there was a lot of dancing in our apartments. And then this year was my first like official, real experience of the PD program, is what we call it. And it's been absolutely great so far.
Wow. I mean, to be honest, I didn't grow up going to ballets. I didn't grow up really understanding the art form much. But, I will say my sister and I are huge fans of So You Think You Can Dance, which I think for many of us really just kind of just took the lid off of, not just ballet, but these major dance forms that really are about storytelling. So how do you guys get to utilize your form of dance to really tell these stories that you guys are, casted for in these roles?
I think that so much of dance, especially growing up in it and like training, it's just laying such a foundation to like add upon. So you start like from the bottom, which is just like strictly technique. And then once you get to a certain level, like you can start really thinking about like the acting and taking on the persona. Like for me personally, with Beauty and the Beast, I'd never actually seen like the Disney Beauty and the Beast before. So me and my friends, like we like watched the movie just to like kind of, I don't know, like prepare myself, I guess. And like I didn't realize how much I was going to learn from it, but it's just like it's in a way it's really acting. Like you take on a persona of a whole nother character, and you try and like perform that the best you can.
Yeah, it's so much storytelling in it. And when you talk about auditioning, tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes of that process, because I know it takes a lot to get to that point.
It's very true. Definitely within the past couple years, both of my sisters dance, so I had got to see them go through the whole audition process of making a video audition. So you videotape your classwork and your bar and center, and then you send them off to companies and emails. And it's definitely, I think, one of the most taxing processes in your dance lifetime, in my opinion, because you're sending like what you've worked on for your whole entire life off to a bunch of companies just to get back either like, I mean, in the good cases you get an acceptance, but in most cases you definitely get a lot of rejections. And I think it's personally it's really hard to take on, but also it's really hard to see your friends and your peers and your family members like go through that sort of like heartbreak of rejection. So
yeah. I mean, it's like a performer's life is auditioning and really being able to be resilient through rejection, I think. And I experienced that myself. And I'm so grateful that when I was really performing, I got roles that were just made for me. And I know you probably feel that way now with you being able to play Belle. So iconic. I'm glad that you did get to watch the movie, because you're absolutely right in terms of that storytelling piece. What does it mean for you to get cast in such an amazing, like phenomenal role?
Oh my gosh. I think first off, it's such a big responsibility, just because you see how much work goes into like the court women and the villagers, and like how much they are working to make the whole ballet like so amazing. And then that like the also kind of all rides on you, because you want to be like the best that you can be, and you want to perform your best, and you want to make sure that all of their work also just it all gets put together and creates a spectacular show. So I feel like it's definitely a lot of responsibility, and it's a lot of times it's a little nerve-wracking, just because you just want to honor your like peers and your classmates the best that you can.
Well, that says a lot too, because I'm sure you guys have a lot of camaraderie amongst the dancers. I mean, we understand the competition, right? We know it's there, but tell us a little bit about this kind of family that is created at the school.
I know that at least in my class, our COVID year, I think actually really bonded our whole class a lot, because I think in a normal year, you all deal with like your own struggles, and everybody has something individual that they're all going through. And we all definitely did our first year, but we all had like that one common, like, oh, we're in our apartments dancing during our ballet classes, and we all kind of hate it, that sort of thing. And we would all like be there for each other, whether it's in like some like text group chat or something. And then being able to come into the studios this year and see everybody dance in person, and just like there was just so much joy around it. And I feel like our class is just super bonded. And of course, yeah, there's always competition. But I think that our class actually handles it really beautifully, and in a way of like we support each other through our successes, and we're there for each other through our heartaches and downfalls.
Yeah, support is so necessary, I think, all around. And particularly for young dancers, you guys are coming from all over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just like, hey, we're all in Seattle, so we grew up together. You guys are really getting to learn each other. Tell us about the length of time in terms of the school. Like you said, last year's your first year. What does it look like for you? Is there a graduation process? Just tell us about the logistics.
Yeah, so I came and I knew I was only going to be here for 2 years. There are a couple other people in our class who came up through the school. So they started when they were however old, 6 or something, and then they went through the school. But this is going to be my last year in the PhD program. But luckily next year I'll be back, and I was grateful enough to get a job at Pacific Northwest Ballet. So me and Destiny will actually both be hired on next year as apprentices. So yeah, that we're pretty happy about that. But yeah, this is our last year. So we have a Swan Lake left for performances, and then a couple of other things, and then our end of the year performance, where that's pretty much like our graduation.
Well, you know what? Congratulations to you both. Indeed. What a huge feat, honestly, Ross. How did that feel? Because, like, I mean, we're sitting here talking about it, but we know that ultimately the goal is to to be able to land in a dance company somewhere, and to be able for the Seattle Ballet to say, you know what, Pacific Northwest Ballet is like, we got some gems here. We're gonna keep them. How was that for you?
Definitely a dream come true, for sure. We were in the same meeting when we got told that we would be hired on as apprentices next year. And then we both came out of it like completely stoked. And it's actually crazy because when you're coming up and like training, you do like summer programs. So it's like 5 weeks away from wherever you are at a different school. And we actually both ended up going to the same one, like 5-6 years ago or something like that, in like 2017. And it's just crazy to think about, like, I don't know, 2 girls from like that same class like 5 years later are getting hired and like get to experience that together. And it was amazing to have somebody that like I dance with and that I know so well to share that like victory with.
Yeah, this is a beautiful story all around. I mean, we know that there's a lot of young folks out there that, we want them to understand there's no barriers here. Of course, it's about talent. Of course, it's about, consistency, right?
Mhm.
I mean, you have to train. You have to train. It's not like they're just handing out these kinds of positions. You really have to train. But I want you to be able to look right there in that camera and let folks know how they can maybe take their shot to enter the school.
Mhm. Well, I know that PNB does a lot with outreach and a lot of bringing in different schools, and honestly, any age. I've seen so many dancers. Like personally, I started dancing when I was 5 or 6, but one of my best friends, she started doing ballet when she was 13. So there's really no limit to how old you have to be or how young you have to be or what color you have to be to start ballet or dance, or just it's an art form and it's so welcoming for everybody. And I think that all it is really, at least in my experience, has been hard work and dedication, which just, if you want it bad enough, you can achieve it.
Yeah, there it is. Rosalyn, thank you so much for sharing your P&B school experience with us. You know what? I know, like I was just telling Destiny, I know you're going to blow the roof off of this role with Belle. I'm just so elated for you. And thank you so much for bringing your story here to the Black Media Matter Studios. It's so important for us to uplift you both and the work you all are doing. Amazing work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.